Hello and welcome to Transfermarkt TV. I'm Ben Littlemore and today I'm joined by Transfermarkt's man in Portugal, Gonçalo Tristão Santos. And Gonçalo joins us because today the big news has broken. Man United have finally got their new man. Rúben Amorim has been appointed on a contract until 2027 with an option for Man United to extend that by 1 year. United have paid 11 million euros, or we believe in the region of that fee, to get Amorim in. Gonçalo, sorry, a lot of people maybe haven't watched too much of the Portuguese league and they're very excited about Amorim coming in, 39 years of age, an exciting young coach. Would you mind by starting just telling us a little bit about what kind of coach is he and what Man United fans can expect from Amorim?
Hello, yeah, of course. So, Rúben Amorim won the Portuguese league with Sporting in his very first full season at the club. Proving that he can have an almost immediate impact on a team, and that can also happen on Man United. However, I think we are talking about two different realities. Man United is currently in the 14th place in the Premier League, so I don't think Amorim will have an easy job. The way that Sporting played under Amorim evolved over the years. When Amorim first arrived, Sporting played in a more how can I say this, more passive way, not minding giving up the ball possession because they could create goal scoring opportunities through counterattacks, and Sporting was really strong in that style. And this was how Sporting won the title of the Portuguese league in 2021 after 19 years without winning the competition, but that has changed over the years, and nowadays Sporting's prioritize keeping the possession to dominate games and to secure wins. So even since last year, with the arrival of Gyökeres, Sporting has utilized the depth of the Swedish attacker to play in a very different way, using the depth of the field. And I think that United doesn't have a striker, a center forward with these characteristics in their squad. However, I think that Amorim will try to implement his ideas from day one. That obviously will depend on how he views the United players and the United squad that is available to him. But I think that many United fans can expect Amorim to try to implement his ideas since day one.
There's been a lot of talk in English media this week, ever since Ten Hag was sacked on Monday and it looked like Amorim became the favourite, about the formation. So he's primarily, I believe, played a back three at Sporting Lisbon. Has he almost always used that formation? And do you expect him to go straight in at Man United and do that? And do you think he's got the players to do that?
Yeah, it's not almost always. He always uses that formation, that 3-4-3 formation, since his arrival at Sporting, because as I was saying, Sporting changed his style of play during the years with Amorim, but what hasn't changed during this time is that the 3-4-3 formation that Sporting has used since Amorim's arrival. Sporting always plays in this style. It's his preferred tactical setup. He used to play like this at Braga, and just a small note, Sporting also brought him from Braga in the middle of the season. I think it was in March 2020 for 10 million euros. And he has continued to do so at Sporting, to play in this 3-4-3 formation or 3-4-2-1. And with excellent results, because in less than 5 years, he has won 2 Portuguese leagues, 2 League Cups, and the Super Cup. So yeah, I think that he will try to implement his ideas since day one, as I was saying. I'm not sure that he has the perfect squad to do so, because the squad was built by another coach, as we know, by Ten Hag, and we saw that from the former players, from our Ajax players and Dutch players that Ten Hag bought from United. So yeah, obviously this United squad is not a perfect fit for Amorim ideas, but on the other hand, he knows very well some players that United has nowadays. Like, he didn't work with Bruno Fernandes directly. They were not at Sporting at the same time, but I'm sure that Amorim knows Bruno Fernandes very well. and but he knows better Manuel Ugarte. Ugarte was a top player at Sporting 2 seasons ago. That's why he moved to PSG for 60 million, and that was mostly because of Amorim work. So I think that he already knows some of the players, and obviously that at the club as Man United, you have a lot of pressure to have results since day one, and I think he will try to do so with his own ideas.
Okay, it's interesting. You kind of touched upon some of the players there. When I think about Man United playing a back three, the first two players I instantly think, how do they fit into that? Was Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford. So I know at times, I believe with his wing backs, he's basically played wingers in those positions. So do you think there's a possibility that he could end up playing Rashford as a wing back? And do you see Bruno Fernandes fitting into that front three behind the striker?
Yeah, it's a possibility, but it's difficult to say. It's a very specific tactical setup, a very specific formation. And as I was saying, I'm not sure he has the players to do so from the beginning, but I think he will try, and he can adapt some players to his style of play. Like I don't know if you heard about this new Sporting wonder kid, Giovanni Kenda. I think he was already linked to Man United and even Man City in the last days. He's only 17 years old. He's a natural right winger, but he's playing not in the front three as he used to do in the youth teams of Sporting. Amorim was and he's still, because he's still Sporting's manager for the next days. He is adapting him, and not only Kenda but also other players like Jenny Catano to this specific role to play either on the left or either on the right. So I think he will try to adapt some players so he can use his 3-4-3 from the beginning. But yeah, I'm not sure which players can do that role at Man United. Maybe another Portuguese player like Diogo Dalot will help him, because he's a very offensive player. He can play both on the right or on the left. But yeah, I'm very curious to see how Amorim will deal with the squad.
Okay, like from what you say and from what I hear, he's obviously a very good coach, Rúben Amorim. But you could argue also Erik ten Hag was a good coach when he went into the job. I think
Yeah.
one of the things that ten Hag struggled with was, I think there's not really many jobs in world football where you're under more scrutiny from the media than when you're Manchester United manager. And it's something ten Hag really struggled with during his time at Man United, and sort of, I think that was maybe part of his downfall. What is Rúben Amorim like with the media in Portugal? Is it something he's comfortable with dealing with? And do you think he might struggle in the same way with that sort of media spotlight at Manchester United?
Well, here in Portugal, at least, Amorim is highly praised for his communication style. He's very sincere. He's very honest. He doesn't shy away from discussing various topics, even the tough ones, as we've seen recently in these last few days with the rumors about his potential move to Man United. But yeah, I personally thought that United would try to hire a more experienced manager with titles in the major leagues. I mean, the top 5 leagues or even the Champions League. But they ended up betting on a young coach with future, as Amorim is only 39 years old. But yeah, I like his style of communication. Here, people in Portugal praise him very much for that. So I don't think that is going to be a problem. I think that Man United fans should be more concerned about his style of play, the players that he has available, because I think people there in the UK will really like him and to enjoy Amorim, because he speaks very well. He's also fluent in English, as you probably have seen recently. He answered some questions from media outlets in the last days after and before Sporting matches. So yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Okay, that's very interesting. I think United fans will be happy to hear that.
Yeah.
We've obviously mentioned Ten Hag bringing in all the sort of ex-Ajax players at Manchester United, and naturally, since it became clear that Amorim was going to get the Man United job, there's been several Sporting players that have been linked with a move to Manchester United in the future. The young winger Quenda's been one of them. I've heard Goncalves, I've heard Marcus Edwards, I've heard Gonçalo Inacial, I believe that's the pronunciation of the centre-back. Do you think there's a possibility that any of the Sporting players could follow Amorim to Manchester United in January or perhaps next summer?
Yeah, specifically two players I think that will fit very well in Man United. So I'm talking about Gonçalo Inácio, the centre back, and Viktor Gyökeres, the centre forward. Gyökeres because, as I was saying, Man United does not have a striker with these characteristics in their squad, and I think that he fits perfectly the style that Amorim would or will like to implement in the club. So I think that, also Gyökeres scoring a lot of goals. I think he will move either in January or in the end of the season to a bigger club. And now that Amorim is at Man United, I think that United is one of the favorites to buy him. And I think that it would make sense because of his quality and his style of play. And Gonçalo Inácio because, I think that it's almost obvious that United will buy some more center backs because Amorim always uses three center backs, and also Inácio is a left-footed player, so there are not a lot of good center backs that are left-footed. He's also young, he's very talented, and I think he would also fit this new style of play that United will have under Amorim.
Very interesting. Gyökeres would obviously be a huge sign, and also what would that mean for Rasmus Højlund potentially, and Inácio as well? Perhaps means Lisandro Martinez might struggle as a left-footed centre back. Finally, Gonçalo, I kind of wanted to ask you. He's a young coach doing really well in Portugal and coming to the Premier League. It's hard not to think about Jose Mourinho. Would you, in terms of his style, in terms of the way he handles himself, is there anybody you would compare Amorim to in management? And would Jose Mourinho be one of those names?
No, I don't think they are very similar. Not in the style of play. They do it very differently, especially now that Amorim likes to have the ball possession, to create a lot of opportunities. Usually we don't see Mourinho's teams playing like this. And also the way they communicate, as I was saying, Amorim is much more friendly, much more enjoyable. I think that they have very different styles, both in the pitch and outside of it. So I don't see anything or anybody I could compare Amorim with. He's a very different coach. The way he talks and all that. I think I think people will be surprised with him in the Premier League because I honestly can't compare him to anybody that I've seen there in the last years.
Very interesting. So his own man, perhaps another special one coming to the Premier League.
Let's see. It's not going to be easy because, as you know, Man United is in a very difficult situation. I would be more. How can I say this? I would have better feelings if he started the season at the new club at United, but going to the club now, it's going to be even harder for him. But I guess we won't need to wait a long time to see how it is going to be.
Yeah, never easy going in halfway through a season. Gonçalo, thank you so much for your time today. It's been fascinating insight to hear about exactly what he's like. You know, everyone in the Premier League is going to be so eager. His first game, Amorim, will be against Ipswich on November the 24th after the international break, with him coming into the job in November the 11th. Thank you for listening, guys. Don't forget, if you haven't already and you want more content like this, subscribe to the channel below. Gonçalo, thank you very much for your time and insight today, and thank you guys for listening.